Hi, welcome to this morning yoga class. So we'll start in a comfortable seat today. You don't need any props unless you usually use them for your yoga class, and feel free to grab them. You might like padding for the hands, maybe the knees, or maybe something to sit on just to lift your hips up a little bit. That can feel nice if you've got quite tight hip flexors. So make your way down to a comfortable seat. And when you're ready, we'll start with a equal breath exercise, either resting the hands on the knees, or you can bring the hands to the belly. And we'll take some inhales and exhales through the nose for the count of 3. So on the inhale, you can bring the focus to the belly. Notice the belly expand under the hands. And then on the exhale, notice the belly soften. So we'll start together with the inhale. Inhaling for 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 3, 2, 1. Last time, inhale, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 3, 2, 1. And bring your hands to the knees if they're not there already, and just let your breath return back to its natural rhythm. Try to maintain a deep belly breath throughout the practice. And from here, start to draw little circles with the nose in one direction, and start to let those circles get bigger and bigger and bigger. And then when you can't make them any bigger, we can switch directions, starting with the big circles, and let those circles get smaller and smaller and smaller, coming back to center. And then from here, we'll just send the gaze over the left shoulder, back to centre, and then send the gaze over the right, back to centre, one more time, left, back to centre, and then right, back to centre. Great. So from here, we'll interlace the fingers behind the back. If you can't interlace the fingers, you can take the opposite hands to opposite wrists, maybe opposite arms, whatever feels good for you. And then we'll start to just draw the arms down, start to open up through the chest. A nice chest opener here. And on the exhales, if you can start to hinge forward from the hips, coming down as far as feels good for you, keeping those sitting bones grounded. Hold it here. And then release the arms, let them come forward. And just start to walk the hands over towards the left. Back to centre. And then walk them over to the right. Might feel a nice stretch down the side of the body. And come back to centre. And then just gently walking the hands back up. From here, we'll take a twist. So on the next inhale, just reaching the arms up, really reach through the fingers. And then with the right hand, we'll bring it to the left knee. The left hand comes behind us. On the next inhale, we want to lengthen through the spine. And then on the exhale, send your gaze over the left shoulder. Breathe here. And then inhale, come back to center, bring the arms up and overhead. And on the next exhale, we'll take it to the opposite side, so left hand to right knee, right hand comes behind us. Inhale to lengthen through the spine. And exhale, send the gaze over the right shoulder. Deep belly breaths here. And then inhale, unwind, bring the arms up overhead, stretching through the fingers. And on the exhale, cactus the arms down, really draw the shoulder blades together, open up through the chest. Then inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, cactus the arms. Last time, reaching up. And exhale to cactus the arms, open up through the chest. Great. You can take a couple of shoulder rolls, just roll the shoulders back a little bit. And then forward. Perfect. So from here we'll make our way into a tabletop position. So just rolling forward, planting the hands, stacking the shoulders over the wrists and the hips over the knees. And we'll start with a few just rolls of the hips. So drawing the hips down towards the right ankle, over towards the left, and then coming up the other side. So you can make these circles as big or as small as you like. Just really starting to wake up the spine, wake up the hips. And then switching directions. If you hear some cracks and pops, that's perfectly normal, especially first thing in the morning. And then coming back to centre. So from here, we'll take the right leg and we'll just take it out to the side. And we'll start to draw some circles with the knee, so sending the knee back behind us. And then knee towards the mat, but not dropping the knee to the mat. And then we'll come out to the side again. So just big circles with the knee. We're getting into the hip. And then switching directions. And then bringing that knee back down. We'll take it to the opposite side. So bringing the left knee out towards the side and then bring it out behind us. And then the knee comes towards the mat before going out to the side again. So just drawing those big circles with the knee. This is really good for hip mobility, getting the fluid to the hip joint. And then switching direction. Great, and then bring that knee back down, realign yourself. From here we'll thread the needle, so bring the left hand just so it's in front of the face. And then with the right hand we'll sweep it up, gaze can be up. And on the exhale we'll take that right hand, bring the back of the hand to the floor and start to thread it under the left arm. Come down onto the shoulder, resting the side of the head on the floor. You can stay here if you like, or you might like to send the left foot out behind you, come onto the ball of the foot. Maybe staying here, or you can send that left arm up towards the ceiling, fingertips can face up, or you can rotate the hands so it's facing the right side of the room, and then just bend at the elbow, bring it down across the back and see if you can just hook the fingers into the side of the hip. Remember to keep breathing here. And gently coming out the same way you came in, bring the arm up and back down to the floor, bending the knee if you've got that lifted, and then pushing into the left hand, we'll bring the right arm up, gaze is up again. And then exhale, place that right hand where the left hand was. We'll take the same sequence or the same pose on the opposite side, so the left arm comes up, gaze can be up. Exhale, threading that arm under the right arm, come down onto the shoulder, resting on the side of the head. Again, you might like to send that right foot out behind, putting onto the ball of the foot. And then maybe sending the right arm up and just dropping that arm across the back, maybe hooking the fingers into the crease of the hip. And just remember to keep breathing here. This is quite a nice twist, really great stretch for the shoulder as well. Right, and slowly unwind in the same way you came in, dropping the knee, pushing into that right hand, bring that left arm up, gaze can be up, and then exhale, just planting that onto the floor. So from here, we'll send the left leg out towards the side. You want the toes pointing forward. Start to walk the hands up and we'll come up to an upright position. And then inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, take the left hand. We'll just take it down the side of the left hand. The right hand comes over, palm facing down. Right. And then inhale, come back up to center, both arms up overhead. On the exhale, we'll drop the right hand down towards the floor. Left arm can be up. You can stay here if you like, or you can see if you can lift that left leg off the floor. Breathing here for another round of breath. And then gently place that left foot back down, bring both arms up and overhead. On the exhale, bring the hands back down, step the knee in, arriving back into our all fours. So we'll take that on the opposite side now. So stepping the right leg out, toes pointing forward. Start to walk the hands back, come up to an upright position. And then inhale to reach the arms up. Exhale, bring that right hand down the side, sweep the left arm over, palm facing down. Nice stretch down the side of the body. Then inhale, bring both arms up. This time taking the left hand down towards the floor, right hand or fingers pointing up towards the ceiling, either staying here or maybe lifting that right leg off the floor. Type of modified plank position, side plank position. Just one more round of breath here. And then on the next inhale, just making our way back up, bringing both arms up overhead, gaze can be up. And then exhale, planting the hands, stepping that knee back in. And from here, we'll tuck the toes and start to walk the hands backwards, lifting the knees, coming onto the ball of the feet. You might like to have the big toes touching. There can be a gap with the heels of the feet. We'll just come into a little bit of a ball of yarn, so a little balancing pose, wrapping the arms around the legs, maybe dropping the head in. And then release the arms, start to straighten through the legs, leaving the head nice and low, coming into a forward fold. You can have a generous bend in the knees here, coming onto the fingertips, maybe resting the hands on the shins. And we'll just start to straighten and bend one leg at a time. Maybe releasing the head and the neck down. Or if you like, you can take opposite elbows, opposite hands, and maybe just sway side to side here. And then releasing the hands, keeping that nice generous bend in the knees. We'll start to just gently, slowly roll up to standing, one vertebrae at a time, rolling the shoulders up and back when we get there. Maybe doing it a couple of times, that can feel quite nice. And arriving in our Tadasana, our mountain pose. So we'll take a few sun salutations now. So you just want to come to the front of the mat, make sure you've got enough room behind you. You can have big toes to touch with a gap with the heels, or you can have the feet hip distance apart, whatever feels good for you. And on the inhale, we'll bring the arms out nice and wide, bring them up overhead. Either arms can stay shoulder distance apart, you can bring the palms to touch. And then exhale, bring the arms out towards the side, start to hinge forward at the hips, swan diving down, bring the fingertips down towards the floor, release the head. Inhale, bring the hands to the shins from flat back position. And exhale, forward fold, bending the knees enough to plant the hands, and we'll step back with the left foot, come onto the ball of the back foot, dropping that knee down. Check your front knee is stacked over the ankle, untuck the toes. We'll just take a couple of little movements here. Just any movement that feels good. And then we'll make our way to stillness. Start to pull back with that front heel and pull that left hip in, keeping those hips nice and aligned. And on the inhale, we'll reach the arms up. And exhale, plant the hands, tuck the back toes, lift that back knee, and we'll make our way back into our downwards dog. Just bending and straightening the legs one at a time here. It's our first downwards dog of the day, so we just want to get nice and comfortable. Make sure you're pushing into the whole hand with the grip into the floor, broadening through the back. And when you're ready, just come to stillness. Maybe you're up on your toes today with a nice bend in your knees to keep the back straight. Or maybe you're working towards heels coming towards the floor. Wherever you are, we want to work towards a nice straight back, pushing into the whole hand. One more round of breath here. Great. And on the next inhale, we'll lift the right leg up, the three-legged dog. And then inhale, bring the weight forward, bring the knee in towards the nose, hold it here for 3, 2, 1. And then see if you can plant that foot in between the hands at the front of the mat. You might need to use a hand to just support your foot to get there. Hold it here. And then bring the weight forward into that front leg and bring the back leg to meet the front. Back in our forward fold position. Inhale, hands to shins for a flat back position. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms come wide, reaching up towards the ceiling. And exhale, hands to prayer in front of the chest. And you can bring them back down the side. We'll take that again on the opposite side this time. So inhale, reaching the arms up, either shoulder distance or palms together. Exhale, swan dive, bringing the arms out nice and wide, making our way down to a forward fold. Inhale for a flat back. Exhale, plant the hands. This time step back with the right foot. Bringing the back knee down and tuck the toes. Again, take a few little movements just to wake up the hips. Great. And then again, checking the knees stacked over the ankles. Start to pull the left hip back, right hip forward as we inhale to reach the arms up. Exhale, plant the hands, touch the back toes, lift that knee off the floor, and we'll lift that front foot and make our way back into a downwards dog. We'll be here for 5 breaths and maybe taking a few movements to start, but see if you can at least stay in a static dog for a few rounds of breath. This can be quite a challenging pose, but it's a great way to build strength in the upper body. And it's also a really great stretch for the back body as well, particularly if you have tight hamstrings like I do, then this can be a really nice pose. So on the next inhale, we'll lift the left leg up for three-legged dog. And then bring the weight forward, knee to nose, hold it here for 3, 2, 1. And then plant that foot at the front of the mat. Hold it here. And bring the weight forward into that front leg. Pick up the back leg and step it forward for forward fold. Inhale for a flat back position. Exhale, fold. From here, bring the arms out nice and wide. Push through the hands. Bring the arms up overhead. And exhale, bring the hands down to prayer. And then bring them out towards the side. Great. So that's our sun salutations. If you do have time after the class, feel free to do them as many times as you want. It's a really good way to wake up the body first thing in the morning. So for us, we'll make our way down, back onto the floor. We'll bring the feet wider, just out, just over hip distance apart. Toes pointing out towards the side, about 45 degrees. If you've got a mat, just make sure your toes are spilling off the edge of the mat. It's a really good way to get into this kind of position. Bring your hands down to your hips, and we'll make our way down to a squat position. You can either come all the way down straight away, or you might like to just take some small movements, maybe swaying to the side. You can bring the fingertips down towards the floor, just getting into the hips. And when you're ready, see if you can bring your arms in front of the legs. palms together. You might be up on the toes, or you might have the feet flat to the floor. Whichever option you're in, just see if you can keep a nice straight back. Your hips can be a little bit higher if you're a bit tight in the hips. That's perfectly fine. Just work with where you are today. You shouldn't feel any pain at all. So, and we can all feel, especially particularly tight in the mornings. Just work within your limitations. And then from here, we'll bring the right arm out towards the side, open up with the left. Inhale, come back to center. And then exhale, bring the left fingertips out towards the side, open up towards the right. And then coming back to center, we'll make our way down onto the floor, so however you want to get there. And then from here, we'll move into a reverse table. So we'll just bring the hands behind us. We want the hands stacked under the shoulders. And you might want to readjust yourself once you get into this pose. Roughly, we want the knees stacked over the ankles. So when you're ready, we'll lift the hips up, push through the hips, keeping the head up if that feels better for the neck. Otherwise, if you feel okay in the neck, you can drop it back, but you don't need to. The main thing is to push up through the hips, open up through the chest. Hold it here. And exhale, release the hips down to the floor. So you can either take reverse table again, or if you want to take reverse plank, you can bring the feet out long, toes pointing towards the edge of the mat. And on the next inhale, we'll lift the hips up. Remember to keep breathing here. And exhale, drop in the hips down, release the hands. You might like to take a few wrist circles in one direction and the other direction. Maybe shaking out the legs a little bit. Right. So from here, we'll just move our way up, or just flip over so we're on the front side of the body. And then we'll make sure our hips are stacked over the knees again. And we'll just start to walk the hands out to the side, so moving into a pose known as puppy pose. So hands are about mat distance apart. Bring in either the forehead or the chin down to the floor. If you do have neck problems, then I suggest just bring the forehead to the floor. It can be quite an intense one for the shoulders and for the neck. Arms off the floor if you want to keep it quite active, otherwise you can rest them down. Just see where you are today. Right. And gently walking the hands up. And we'll make our way onto our forearms. So we're moving into a forearm plank. A really good way to check your alignment is to bring hands to opposite biceps, measure them out there, and then bring the hands out in front in a nice straight line. Now you really want to push into the whole hand to keep the hands from coming in together. A lot of us are quite tight in the upper back, so you may struggle with this at first and you may want to bring your hands together so you're in a tripod position. But once you do build some strength, then you want to work towards having those hands in a nice straight line with the elbows. So from here, send the left foot back, send the right foot back, pull the navel in, push up through the upper back. We'll hold it for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release, dropping the knees down. You might like to come back for a child's pose, bring the hips or the bum back towards the heel, bring the head down. You can rest the arms down by the side, or you can have the arms out in front. making our way back up. So now we're going to take dolphin pose. So we've worked a little bit on the shoulders today, so we'll continue with that. So from here, again, bringing the hands down to the mat, just lining ourselves up by taking the hands around the biceps and then bringing the hands out in front. So if you are working with dolphin and you've been practicing for quite some time, then you can start with the hands out, hands in line with elbows. Otherwise, it can be a lot easier, just bring the hands together, clasp them, and work in this tripod position today. So again, see where you are, and you don't have to hold the pose for, if you need to come out of the pose at any point, then feel free to come back down as well. So from here, we'll tuck the toes and lift the hips up. So just like in our downwards dog, we want to try and keep the back nice and straight. The head should be away from the floor, so we're not resting any weight on the floor. Really broaden through the shoulders, lifting up through the back. And you can start to walk the feet forward if you like. I'm going to keep breathing here. You might like to lift one leg up in the air and then placing that foot back down, lifting the opposite leg in the air, releasing back down. Remember to keep breathing, holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and gently placing the knees back down onto the floor, releasing the arms, making your way back up really slowly. It is an inversion, so if you do feel a bit of dizziness, then that's perfectly fine. Just move nice and slow out of the pose. So make your way back down into a seated position. And just stretch the arms out a little bit, so bring the left arm across the body. Notice if the shoulder's coming up, and also if you can just pull that shoulder down. And then swapping to the opposite arm. And swapping arms. So this time we'll take the left hand up, palm facing backwards, and just send that hand so it's down the back. Elbow pointing up. And with the right arm, we can just take the hand to the top of the elbow. Or if you like, you can send the right arm out to the side, thumb pointing down, start to bend at the elbow, bring the hand to the back, and see if you can just bring the hands together so the fingers touch, coming into a bind. If you're not quite there, then you can just grab onto a piece of clothes and work here today. Try and keep a nice straight back. And then release, maybe just roll the shoulders back a little bit. And we'll take that on the opposite side. So right arm up, bending at the elbow, bring the hand down the back. Same with the first option if you like, so maybe placing the left hand on the right elbow and just working here today. Or sending the left arm out to the side, thumb pointing down, place the hand on the back and just see if you can bring the fingers together for a bind. You might notice that one side is easier than the other, and that's perfectly normal. Just notice that and don't judge or anything, it's just noticing how the body is today. Gently release, roll the shoulders out. Right. So we'll make our way onto our bum, bringing the feet out so the soles of the feet are on the floor, Hands out, palms facing each other, nice straight back. Pull the navel in. We'll take boat pose by lifting the left leg up first, and then the right leg. Try and keep a nice straight back, holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Placing the feet down. You might like to just shake out the legs a little bit, maybe rock the hips, the legs, the knees side to side. We'll take that one more time. Soles of the feet to the floor, nice straight back, hands facing each other, helps with the balance. This time we'll lift the right leg and the left leg. Keeping the back nice and straight, pull the navel in for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release the legs, maybe give them a little bit of a shake. Perfect. So we're making our way down to our backs. Just make sure you've got enough room behind you. Bring the arms out, palms facing each other again. Keeping the soles of the feet on the floor. See if you can come all the way down with control. Bringing the arms up and overhead. Stretch through the fingers, stretch through the toes. Full body stretch. And then releasing the arms, releasing the legs. Bring the soles of the feet to the floor. And from here, we want the feet hip distance apart. Arms can stay by the side, palms facing down, or you can just have the arms bent at the elbows, palms facing each other. We'll take a bridge pose from here, so tilting the pelvis up. Start to just peel the back off the floor, pushing through the hips. Try and notice if the knees are coming out at all. You want a nice solid foundation. And then gently just making our way down, so rolling down one vertebrae at a time, releasing the pelvis when you get there. Hands can come down by the floor. And again, you might just want to roll the knees from side to side, window wiper, the legs can feel quite nice for the lower back. Right. From here, across the left ankle, over the right knee, open up through the left. Arms can come out to a T, maybe cactusing the arms, whatever feels good for you. And then we'll just send that left foot over towards the right. The sole of the left foot doesn't have to touch the floor. It can if you like, but just see where you are today. If you've got quite tight hips, it might not get there, so don't worry about that too much. And inhale, coming back up, crossing or taking it to the other side, so crossing the right foot over the left knee, opening up through the thigh, keeping the toes pointing in towards the knee, and we'll send that foot over towards the left. And bringing the legs back up, releasing the feet. You can bring the knees in towards the chest now. Maybe drawing some circles with the knee in one direction, maybe rocking side to side. Taking any last minute movements that feel good for you. And when you're ready, we'll just make our way into our Shavasana. So either bringing the soles of the feet to mat distance apart, letting the knees fall in together, or if it feels good for the lower back, you can send the legs out long. Arms can come to the side, palms facing up. You might like to soften the gaze or close the eyes while you're here. Noticing how the body feels. Noticing how it differs to when you started the practice this morning. You can stay in this Shavasana for as long as you have available. It's a very important time to process the practice and just bring the body back, bring the breath back. And when you're ready, you can start to make some small movements with the fingers, maybe with the ankles, the wrists. You can start to move the head side to side, massaging the back of the head. And only when you're ready, like I said, you can stay here for as long as you like. Otherwise, just bring yourself over to one side and support yourself, making your way back up to seated position. And that brings us to the end of the class today. I hope you enjoyed that class and I hope you feel ready to take on the rest of the day. Thank you for practicing with me.